Hello friends, I've had two beers already, the Mexican beer and pre-tasting of a Gordon Biersch beer. And I am here ready to do your second beer review of the night. Now, I didn't really research this beer to go and find out everything about it. So, I'm not sure. Maybe you've possibly heard of this beer before. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Fuck Heineken, Pabst Blue Ribbon. So, this is obviously a good beer because it's a Blue Ribbon beer. It won a Blue Ribbon back over 100 years ago. And so, let's be hipsters tonight, shall we? Okay, let's look at this a little bit more here. So, if memory serves, this is about 5.0, and of course it's an American adjunct lager. And as much as I make fun of this, I actually kind of like Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's got a little bit of a soft spot in my heart. So let's pour this bad boy out. This tall boy out. Okay, very typical adjunct. This yellow color. With, of course, quickly receding adjunct head. Smells of rice and corn. Not very aluminum-y. But not much there either. Of course, very carbonated, as all adjunct lagers are. Rice and corn malts. You can also, it's got that typical adjunct lager smell to it. And it's got that typical adjunct lager lack of taste. It's not as bad as Bud Light, though, which tasted like I was drinking seltzer water. This one has a presence in the mouth, at least. Slightly sweet aftertaste. Very light hopping. Basically in the front, you just get a little sniff of hops. Honestly, it's not very offensive tasting at all. It's, well, there's no taste, you know, carbonation, the mouth, you know, the body and the mouthfeel, it's not all that bad. Now, this stuff's cheap even in Hawaii, let me tell you. It is $1.50 for 24 ounces. You ain't gonna get much cheaper here in Hawaii. It's certainly better than a lot of stuff that's more expensive, like the aforementioned Corona that I talked about earlier tonight. It tastes like, you know, Mexican skunk piss. Fortunately, you probably need to drink quite a bit of this to get drunk. So, boy, I got some time to kill here, man. Anyway, let's go. Let's go read the can. This is the original Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. Nature's choicest products provide its prized flavors. Only the finest of hops and grains are used. Selected as America's beer in 1893. Can't beat that. So, go and fill in some time here. I want to theorize, why do hipsters like this? Well, it kind of goes back to the inception of hipsterdom in the late 90s, which unfortunately I was around. Unfortunately, I wasn't of drinking age yet, so I couldn't enjoy being amongst the first hipsters, and then I lived in Seattle at the time, by the Rainbow Bar, of all places. That's the place where Kerouac hung out when he was in Seattle. And a whole bunch of other writers lived in Seattle at the time. I think Theodore Rothke, for example. I lived literally up the street from there. It was a 4-minute walk away, and I was only 19 at the time. Now, I remember this passing by, being on special as the cheapest beer at the Rainbow Bar. And there you kind of have like why hipsters drank it. It was cheap, and back in those days, hipsters were poor bohemians instead of trustifundian butt wipes. Now, the trustifundian butt wipes sort of came along, and they all started drinking this. And because it was a cheap beer, it wasn't marketed or anything like that, and the owners at the time sort of figured, hey, here, our sales are kind of growing, and here's our niche, and what do you know? They like to pretend that they're not a bunch of drones. Well, they are a bunch of drones. We're all drones. I'm a drone, you're a drone. We're all drones. Make peace with that, man. It's easier to make peace with things after about third or fourth beer. Let me tell you that. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So that's why Pabst Blue Ribbon sort of became the hipster beer. It's just cheap. Hipsters used to be poor. Now they're people with too much money or too much pretension or a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know the drill. So, kind of leaked out from hipster culture because I remember a couple of years back going to Tamura's and buying a sixer of Pabst Blue Ribbon because back then I wasn't paid as well as I am now, and I had more expenses coming back from Japan. So basically, this kind of was my go-to beer for a long while because it was the cheapest sixer of something that wasn't god-awful. I wouldn't be drinking Natty Light. Natty Light's pretty much the only thing that's cheaper than this. I didn't freaking like Natty Light even when I was in college. Where was I with that? Anyways, so I'm walking out, and I pass the Marine because Tamura's is right next to the Marine base, and he says, hey, Pabst Blue Ribbon, where'd you get that, man? I'm like, oh, yeah, you just get it at Tamura's. He's like, oh, thanks, man. And that's when you knew that Pabst Blue Ribbon, is just kind of had mainstream appeal when what essentially was a Puerto Rican Marine wanted to drink Pabst Blue Ribbon. Well, who knows? He could have been like one of those legit, like, New York blue-collar guys or something like that who drank Pabst Blue Ribbon before it was cool. Dennis Hopper drank this before it was cool in National Velvet or something like that? Or Blue Velvet? Or whatever. I always get Blue Velvet and National Velvet confused. It's like Elizabeth Taylor and Roddy McDowall and Dennis Hopper and, like, David Lynch. That'd be an awesome movie. David Lynch remakes, like, National Velvet, it'd be like, like somebody with the Roddy McDowall thing with, like, that god-awful plastic horse head and whatnot. Oh, Jesus. They sort of dance around. I probably shouldn't be reviewing this thing. I've had a little bit too much already, And I'm exhausted. My back hurts. I was doing yard work all day long, stooping over, cutting stuff. And, I had, last night I also drank a little bit too much, and I was, at a band, down the street from my mom's house, and they're playing ska music. So I decided to pretend I was, 23 again, and I was skanking to it and out in the driveway as people walked by, because I don't give a fuck. There's some good-ass music playing. I'm gonna fucking dance. And that's just a law, okay? Got that? Got that? I know you do. So, you people are really going to enjoy watching this later on, because it's very little about Pabst Blue Ribbon, but it's all about how I am like after I've had a few and am feeling somewhat energetic. So, anyways, we're 10 minutes in. I can go on and on, but it's probably going to blow up my hard drive because these things are like huge and whatnot. So, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Good after you're done drinking the stuff that you want your taste buds to have. You want something that's not going to taste god-awful and you're going to regret the next day. And you just want to yammer on and on about shit. That's life for you. Here I am, or the Blue Moon. No, it was Pabst Blue Ribbon, not fucking Blue Moon. Blue Moon sucks. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Oh yeah. Since 1844. Prost. And I was drinking this before it was cool.